We have a bunch of Vancouver Canucks hockey players to talk about today because they've been doing some pretty notable things. And we have ourselves a potential signing update too. Let's start out this conversation by talking about Ilya Safonov out of Akbars Kazan in the KHL. Now, if you don't know who Safonov is, I don't blame you. He hasn't really been in the Vancouver Canucks bubble a whole bunch over the past year. And that's because he was a guy that the Vancouver Canucks acquired in a trade from the Chicago Blackhawks 1 year ago. Take a look at this. This happened last June. We made a video about it. It was a pretty interesting draft day trade. The Vancouver Canucks acquired forward Ilya Safonov from the Chicago Blackhawks for future considerations. So he's essentially a free player. Safonov is a guy who, at the time of recording this audio, is 24 years old, 6'4", 205, a left-handed center, who was playing out of Akbars Kazan in the KHL, and who had scored 33 points in 68 games this previous season. He had 9 points in 20 playoff games for the same team, and now reports indicate that with his elimination as Akbars fell to Lokomotiv earlier today, contract talks to bring him to North America have not yet begun, but they could soon. Dave Hall goes out there and says that Safonov is a magician, an absolute handful around the net front, and he finished the season with 33 points in 68 games, along with his 9 points in 20 playoff games. A reply goes out there and says that he is a Teddy Blueger replacement. Absolutely no reason for the Canucks to match the large offers 31-plus-year-old Blueger will get when they could have given ice time to Safonov, or heck, more minutes to a guy like Aatu Raty. More on Raty in a minute. Hockey News Hub, who primarily does stuff for the KHL, they tweet a lot of KHL rumors and news. They said that they're hearing Canucks prospect Ilya Safonov will not extend with Akbars Kazan, and he will sign with Vancouver for next season. So already, we are getting some reports out of Russia, some reports from Rick Dhaliwal saying that, hey, contract talks with the Canucks have not started, but they could in the near future. Is he a Gold Star guy? Dan Milstein, the agent? Yes, Hockey News Hub said. So keep out on the lookout for Ilya Safonov, a magician with the puck and a handful in front of the goalie's crease, to potentially come over to the Vancouver Canucks either in an NHL or an AHL capacity. You would hope that a guy like this is able to be an NHL player right away, considering he is 24 years old, although the fact that he has never played North American hockey before does give a little bit of room for doubt. It's rare to see guys transition from the KHL to the NHL and provide immediate value in a significant capacity to open up their NHL careers. Safonov has a chance to do that. We'll see what happens. If he replaces Teddy Blueger down the middle on the third line or whatever, then maybe that's something to take a look at. But till then, there are some other options that should be noted as well, like Aatu Raty, today's other Vancouver Canucks conversation piece. He's 23 years old, 6'2", 198. We all know the story of Aatu Raty by now. He's a guy that was at one point ranked as a first overall player in the 2021 NHL Draft, but then inevitably slipped to being ranked in the late first round. He then was taken in the second round by the New York Islanders before getting sent over to Vancouver in the Bo Horvat trade. Raty scored 14 points in 66 Vancouver Canucks games this season, despite being a point-per-game Abbotsford Canucks guy the year prior. He didn't really get treated all too well by Adam Foote. He wasn't played, he wasn't given proper assignments, he was a wizard in the face-off circle. Aatu Raty was arguably the best face-off guy in the league if you're talking about U25 players. But Aatu Raty has been tearing it up at the World Championships this season. Aatu Raty is staying hot, scoring yet another goal earlier this morning at the World Championships for 3 total goals for Finland. This was a pretty nice play where he comes in on the Latvian goaltender, shoots the puck, and then it bounces up and then into the net. Raty has himself 3 goals and 1 assist in the 4 games so far for Team Finland at the Worlds, scoring points against Latvia, the US, Hungary, and Germany. So he's doing a pretty good job, honestly. Going over to the tournament as a whole, you will see that Aatu Raty is one of these guys that has produced near the top of the entire championship tournament. He's not at number 1, but the Swiss have some pretty good guys going out there working their magic. Sven Andrighetto, remember him? Timo Meier, they're doing some pretty good work. Jesse Puljujärvi is the top point producer for Team Finland alongside of Mikko Lehtinen, and then you have Aatu Raty over there as well. However, Raty ain't the only Vancouver Canuck who is at 8 points per game on the tourney. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see yet another player with 4 points in 4 games so far in this tournament. It is none other than Linus Karlsson, 26 years old, which that's absolutely crazy to think about the fact that Linus Karlsson is 26 years old. This guy was a Calder contender just a few years ago, and he is still on that bubble of being a full-time Vancouver Canuck. 6'1", 179, a right-handed center right wing. Drafted by the San Jose Sharks back in the 3rd round of the 2018 NHL Entry Draft. He's a Vancouver Canuck now because the Canucks traded Jonathan Dahlin over to San Jose for him. Karlsson took a long time developing in Sweden, playing for Karlskrona HK and then Skellefteå AIK, inevitably maxing out as one of the most valuable Abbotsford Canucks guys. This previous season, he had scored 35 points in 79 Vancouver Canucks games, which is honestly a really respectable stat line. He's at 4 points in 4 games so far for Team Sweden, a goal and 3 assists, scoring points against Slovenia, Czechia, Denmark, and Team Canada, including a multi-point game earlier yesterday against Slovenia. Linus Karlsson has been doing some pretty good work as well, and the Vancouver Canucks went out there and posted about his Mark II. He is averaging a point per game so far at the World Championships. This is a pretty good tournament so far for these Vancouver Canucks-related guys. Karlsson at 26 years old, obviously he's a guy that you could say maybe has some trade value if you wanted to really push it that way, but because he was a young guy developing in the Canucks organization, because he was a 50-50 Vancouver Abbotsford guy as far back as just this last year in 24-25, I do want to see what Linus Karlsson would be able to do with a full-time NHL role with a better coaching staff, rather than the Adam Foote staff that we had seen this previous season. Karlsson may just have been on that bubble to reach NHL stardom this previous season, but ultimately, this is a guy that still has more to learn and more to show off, even though he is only 26 years old. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Ilya Safonov, his season ending with Akbars Kazan, and the reports coming out that he could be signing with Vancouver soon? Thoughts on Aatu Raty and his dominance at the World Championships, and Linus Karlsson. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.